right. Well, welcome back to another episode of Bird Flock. We know it's been a minute since we ran one of these episodes, so we thought we'd come back on with a guy that's from Quebec and the kicker of the Montreal Alouettes, David Côté. First of all, thank you for joining us, and we're gonna start off quick and easy. Just how you doing, and how's the off season been for you?
I'm great. I'm great. It's been a long off season. It's been well. I've worked a lot, and then I've trained a lot too. The snow is melting, so now we can finally kick outside and everything. So, and the season's coming soon, so I'm thrilled about the season coming up.
Yeah, and that was kind of one of the questions we wanted to ask you is obviously living in Quebec and being from Quebec in the winter, you can't really just go out on the field and kick. So, what's kind of your training plan throughout the winter, and how do you get those reps in?
Uh, Luckily, I have access here to an indoor stadium nearby my place, so I can go there pretty much whenever I want when it's open. So I'm taking there during the off season. As far for training, it's the same for every player. I can train inside in a gym, but for kicking wise, it's really in that indoor stadium. And I think I've kicked maybe 4 or 5 times outside only since the the end of winter. So that's a different reality than let's say a guy from Florida or Texas.
Yeah, I'm sure it's tough, and especially seeing some of those guys get their reps in on Instagram or whatever. I'm sure it's frustrating.
Yeah.
Um, let's kick it back to kind of the start of this whole journey for you, and a question that I'm sure you've been asked so many times throughout your life and throughout your career. How did you even start being a kicker?
At first, I was a goalkeeper, a soccer goalkeeper. So that's maybe why I started kicking back in the days. But when I was in high school, it was the classic everyone in line and we kick a ball each, and the guy that kicked the farthest is the kicker. So that's how I ended up being a receiver and then a kicker. And then uh, when I started CJEP, I had a couple concussion. So instead of being a receiver and a kicker, I tried to only focus as a kicker because it's less risk of being hit and like less risk of injuries. So that's how it's all started.
Yeah, and then I wanna fast forward to your time in Laval, and obviously terrific for you there. Won a Vanier Cup. Ultimately became a fifth rounder for the Owls. But that last season you had, or actually didn't have because of COVID,
Yeah.
and still, I guess, being a young player and trying to find your way into the pros and everything, how much do you think that one season of not being able to play really affected you? And especially it was in your draft year, right?
Yeah, exactly. See, when we lost the Dunsmore against Montreal in 19, I I didn't know it was my last game because COVID hit right after, and then the the season was canceled. But I think, yeah, for sure it was a difference because, like you said, it was my draft year. But luckily, I had enough tape my first 3 season to like being able to prove myself, and I've been in, like you said, we've won. I've played well during playoffs and everything, so that helped me. But for sure, like experience wise, it would have been beneficial to play this fourth season, and because I only played 3 years out of 5 in college, which is I don't think that nobody ever done that.
Do you think that it kind of, I know everybody was in the same boat, but do you think that it affected your draft stock in any way?
No, I don't think so because I think, like I said, I played since I was a freshman. I played all those games, so I play as much as I could. Probably if I could have a good year, a great year, maybe higher a couple of ranks, but uh, we never see a kicker being drafted in the first 3 or 4 rounds. So that's I think how it goes, and that was fine. I don't think it affected a lot my draft stocks.
Look, ultimately it helped us. I mean, the Owls got you, and we're definitely happy about that. So, and now talking about your pro career, you coming in as a young guy, you had to beat out two other kickers when you came in.
No.
And it's not really like a position that's like most positions where you can kind of have a mentor with you. You're more or less one guy on the roster and doing your own thing aside from the punter and the long snapper and the other special teamers. But do you have someone that helped you adjust to the professional life and adjust to the professional game when you first came in as a young player?
Yeah, of course. It wasn't someone at my position, but PL Caron, the long snapper that just retired. I knew him before because he was at level when I was younger. We never played together, but I knew him, so he helped me a lot. He was in the league, I think, for 5-6 years with Calgary before, so he helped me. And Joe Zima, we arrived at the same time, so he helped us both to understand how it's the professional rhythm and everything. And also, my first season, it was Greg Quick. He's now the linebacker coach, I think. He was the D-line last year. He was the special team assistant. So, and I think he has more than 40 years of experience as a coach. So he helped us a lot to process, to turn the pages after a game, and then recovery and all those things. So those two guys really mentor me my first season.
And now where you've reached in your career, obviously great start to your career, and it just got prolonged with your contract extension in Montreal. First of all, congratulations on that. And
Thanks.
how excited were you when you found out that that extension was on the table, and for you to ultimately sign it and stay in Montreal for another couple of years?
Oh yeah, it was awesome. I first reach out to my agent to ask Danny about the extension if he wanted first, because that's not my choice. It's their choice if they want to continue with that. So, and he wanted. So I was really happy about that. And as soon as he say yes, that's an option. We try to make a deal as fast as we could before the season to make it happen. And I'm so happy to continue this journey with the Alouettes. I'm a kid from here, so to play for my favorite team, there's no word for that. It's a blessing. So it was a no-brainer to stay.
Yeah, and obviously, I'm sure at some point there was a little nervousness, but was there ever a point where you thought that maybe Montreal wouldn't want to bring you back, or were you always confident that this is where it was going to be, this is where you were going to get it done?
For sure, there's always a little stress because it's pro sport, and there's not much I don't know how to say it, but everything changed so fast in the pro reality. So, but at the end of the season, I had the exit meetings with Danny and then Byron, and they were both happy of what I did last season and the past 2 seasons, and I felt like we had a good connection. It was continuing, so I wasn't too scared, but for sure when it's done deal, it's a relief.
Yeah, and I'm sure one of the key factors that made them want to bring you back, and one of the reasons that Danny Mac probably got the deal done so quickly was he had mentioned that you're cold blooded in a way, and you don't get phased very often. You don't get too stressed. And is this something that you've always had in you ever since you were young, or is it something that you built up in in pressure situations that you've gone through in your career?
I was always a calm kid and like really relaxed and everything, but for sure all the experience and pressure situation, like you said, helped me to figure that out. But it's something that I'm continuously working on. But I always have been a calm, like relaxed guy and not really stressed, yeah, about anything in life. So that's probably helping me a lot at this position.
Yeah, and I want to talk a little bit off the field now. We had Joey Alfieri on, I believe it was about a month ago, and we asked him who kind of the biggest bromance was on the field, and he alluded to you and the special teams group of you, Zima and Caron, and he
Yeah.
kind of touched on you guys and said that you guys were always together, which it makes sense being the special teams unit. But is that something that continues off the field as well, that you guys have built a connection so far off the field that you guys are friends and always hanging out together?
Yeah, for sure. we, like you said, we pass a lot of time together. When guys have their position meeting, we're in meeting with, let's say, a special team coach, or we're doing some adjustment, and it's something we built a lot throughout the season. But yeah, we have for sure during the off season it's tougher a little bit because Joe is in Texas and PL's in Montreal. I'm in Quebec City, so it's kind of like all over the place. But we keep in touch. We talk often. We have a chat and we talk together. We get news of each other. We ask questions, and for sure during season we pass most time together. We watch the other games. We play golf together, and it's a great friendship that has been developed over the past 2 years.
And now, unfortunately, it's kind of changing a little bit, right? With Cajon, he's retiring, so he's not on the field with you.
Yeah.
They obviously brought in Bourassa. And first off, how much are you just gonna? I know you're gonna keep in touch off the field with Cajon, but how much are you gonna miss him just in practices and on the field?
For sure, I'm gonna miss him because he was a great friend of mine, and he was a heck of a player. Honestly, he's never missing a snap. That's I have total confidence of him. But I think we had LP, and he's a great replacement. They're the best long snappers in the league, in my opinion. PL and LP, they're the two most complete long snappers in the league. So I'm glad we've been able to grab Bourassa from Ottawa. I'm pretty sure they're gonna miss him more than us. We're gonna miss PL because with LP, it's gonna be for sure. We need to like develop the confidence and like get to know each other's. But I'm pretty sure it's gonna be all right. And he looks for the few time I talked with him, like pre-game and after the games, he looked like a really nice guy, and I'm sure it's gonna be perfect with him and Joe as well.
Have you talked to him at all since he signed that contract with Montreal?
No, not yet. I haven't had the chance to talk with him. Probably I'm gonna be. I know he was still in Ottawa. I think during the off season because he was there the past couple of years. So maybe when he's gonna be in Montreal and I'm gonna be there for the camp, maybe just before we're gonna meet or try to do something to start that chemistry of the field.
Yeah, and I know it's not really something that a lot of people think about, but not every snapper snaps it the same way, right? There's a different rotation, there's a different, timing to it. And can you take us through kind of the adjustment that you're going to look at with LP compared to PL? Like you were obviously comfortable 2 years playing with PL, you got that comfort level, and now you have to change it. Can you kind of take us through that adjustment?
For sure, I'm pretty sure LP is a righty and PL was a lefty. So first of all, the ball is not the same rotating the same way. It's the different spiral. So this is going to be the adjustment. And LP, for what I saw last season, they were kicking at 7 yards. We're kicking at 8 because PL laces was always perfect when he was at 8 yards. So that's another difference. But it's mostly about timing, and we have so much time during the training camp. We're gonna do 1,000 reps, not even maybe kick the ball, but just the timing of LP snap, Joel, and me going through the motion and everything. And for sure, it's gonna be a different pattern at first, but we're gonna get used to it pretty easily, I think. And they all snap pretty good, so if the ball is in the older's end, I don't I don't need much more.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And I just want to touch one last thing on the special teams unit, and that's kind of your practice. Not a lot of people. Special teams is often overlooked. Growing up playing football my whole life and following the game for so long, it's not very often talk about like what you guys go through in practice and stuff like that. It more comes down to game time if you make
Yeah.
the kick or not. So can you kind of take us through a normal practice of what you do with the special teamers and everything?
Usually, when we have special team meeting in the morning, after that it's like OND. They split us. We dress ourselves and we go on the field directly. We go probably, I will say, an hour to like 45 minutes before everyone on the field, and we do most part of our practice before because we have the old place and we're not squeezed in the corner of the field or we're not scared to hit a receiver running a route or something like that. So instead of moving during the practice, we do everything, by not everything, but most of it before and during practice. Obviously, we have the special team periods that we need to be a part of, but we work more on drills that doesn't require much spaces, like ball contact for me. Let's say ball contact, and then the height of my kick. I can practice them off the field. Like even core, we do some core training, we do some stretching, we do all those things that we can do around the guys that's not affecting the practice. We do them during, and then all the big work. Let's say usually on day 2, I work on kickoff. There's no way during a practice a coach is gonna let me hit 20 kickoff around everyone. So we need to do it before, and it's the same thing for Joe. He punts and he need to do crossfield kicking. When we have the whole field, it's way easier. So most of the things are done before, and then during it's more stretch, core, conditioning, and then all those things. So we look like we're not doing a thing, but we've done our work before them. So
yeah, and all that work leads to a lot of things. And we wanted to know, you coming into the season, what are some of your personal goals that you're trying to attain this year?
For sure, let's say kickoff wise, I want to gain more hang time a little bit, and then more depth, and also being more consistent, because as the season continue, it's getting colder and colder, and the ball travel less and less. So if your leg gets tired, then it's kind of an effect that if it's cold, your leg is tired, and then it's windy, it's going to be 45, 50-yard ball instead of 65, 70. So it's a huge difference. This for kickoff, so more distance a little bit, and then the endurance of my leg. And then as far for field goal, I would say to be like perfect under 40 yard, 40, 45 yard. That's a goal for me. It's been that since I've entered the league. I've been able to do it the first season under 40. Second, I didn't make it. Sorry, and then this year I want to go back to that again. And I would say 40, but like you need to be perfect inside 40, pretty much perfect inside 50, and then after that it's another game because it's longer kick. But let's say inside 40 to be perfect, that's going to be a good objective, because there's a lot of kick that are under 40. There's a lot of 30, 37, 38, 35, 32, and even PATs. It's We don't think about PATs, but I think I've kicked 40 PATs last season. So it's 32 yards. We need to make those they're important as well.
Yeah, and you just said everything kind of longer than 50. You know, it's you can't expect to be perfect from anything to that far. But what's kind of your comfort range outside of 50? What's your like, I should be hitting this almost every time? Like, what's the furthest that you would say?
I would say inside 55, I have a great confidence in me that I can make the kick, and I have the distance, like I can clear everything, and that's pretty good. After 55, it's a long kick, and especially if it's a little bit windy, the wind like don't help us at all. So so I will say inside 55, I'm really confident, and I know that over 55, it's a long shot. You need to get out the driver and then smash it as hard as you can, pretty much, because there's factors around, and then
Yeah, I mean, I know we're definitely excited over here to watch you play this year, and hopefully hit all those goals that you set out for yourself. But I got one last question for you, and it's not really anything related to your game or anything. And I don't want to jinx you, and it might sound like a jinx, but that's not what I'm doing. You know, everybody's dreamed about winning the championship in their respective leagues and their respective sports. And one question I have for you is, if you win the Grey Cup, what is one food that you would want to eat out of it?
Oh, that's a good question. Ah, I would say probably poutine.
Yeah.
It's a classic. The specialty here, poutine with a couple slices of pizza on top. Yeah.
There you
That
go.
would be
Well,
the day.
I hope eventually you get that day with the cup, and that I see pictures of that happening. That would make my day for sure.
Yeah, no, for sure, it would be awesome to do this kind of thing. When I won the Vanier Cup, every Christmas with my family, we're doing like homemade donuts. So we just filled the cup with all the
Oh
donuts
yeah,
and everything. Yeah, it was nice. It was like the center of the table was the Vanier cup with like all the donuts and everything. It was nice.
that's great, man. That's
Yeah,
great. Yeah, like I said, I hope I see it, and hopefully it's soon. Um,
yeah.
Look, I mean, we're gonna wrap it up here, and we just wanted to thank you again for hopping on and taking your time. I know you got a busy training schedule, and you're excited to get back, and we're excited to watch you, man, and we can't wait for the season to start.
Thank you very much for having me. It was nice. You're doing a great job. Continue on that. It's really nice to hear about all the Alouettes player and all those things in podcasts. It's really cool that you're doing that.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man, and we're definitely looking forward to possibly meeting you on the field and everything throughout the season, man.
Yeah, for sure. Anytime.